Hello everyone. Now it may not have been obvious that I was hinting that another autism blog would be coming in the last video, but you're here now, so let's just do it. It will be a bit more professional than my other autism blogs, 116 and especially 133. That blog only existed because I needed to answer a question that an old friend was having about my autism meetups in 2023. But yeah, the first autism blog is my mother's favorite of all these episodes, probably because of the subject alone. So let's hope this one does even better. Let me just take a guess. You found something online that's going to kick off this episode. Yes. I found on Instagram a woman saying that autism sucks. Which out of context I started to get in defensive mode and was about to be like,
Thelonious, you were saying?
But after reading some of the rest of the posts, I do firmly believe she meant that having autism sucks, not people with it suck. I mean, I can definitely see where you're coming from. It has its ups and downs, but if I'm being honest, autism is a really good gift. You see, Autism Awareness Day became official April 2nd of 2008. And I'm over here like, damn, was it that recently? I thought it was at least before I was born, which was close to 26 years ago. I don't know why they waited that late to confirm the holiday. I mean, most people seem to believe Temple Grandin was the one that made it popular. She definitely did in many ways, but the award for the first autism diagnosis belonged to this man named Donald Triplett. Not to be confused with Donald Trump. I don't know if that guy has autism. But anyway, Triplett had his diagnosis when he was 10 years old in 1943, before Temple Grandin was even born, for bitch's sake. And Grandin started having her autism documented around the time of college in the late 60s. So why the shit did it take all the way up to motherfucking 2008 to create this holiday? Like, what a bunch of slackers. But I digress. So, autism is a gift because of how skilled we can be at what we do. Nothing else out there compares to the level of creativity that emerges from autism. For example, where all these blog ideas come from. If anyone who watches BBM wonders where I get these ideas from all the time, I honestly could not tell you. I guess outside inspiration kind of helps a lot, but for a lot of the time, I think these ideas just form in my head and I grab them before they can escape. Of course, some of them have escaped, but that's not the point. Eventually, I do believe that if we keep spreading this word about autism and whatever else there is, then probably in the next few hundred years, everybody born at that point will have autism. I mean, I don't know for certain, but I think that's the way our society is moving towards, if you get what I'm saying. That's what I believe. It's not autism that's the problem, it's the ignorant people around us that just can't seem to accept that people are different from each other that are the problem. And interestingly enough, I've heard stories of people slamming doors and crying and shit when they find out they're not autistic. That's pretty interesting. Like, that sounds exactly like somebody with autism would do when they get upset. I mean, not all of them, obviously. Seriously, that doesn't quite connect. There we go. That doesn't quite connect to me, but apparently it's true. I understand that it's common in young teenagers. Like, just the other day, my 12-year-old cousin got offended by something her dad said, even though I was there and I don't even know what he did wrong. But anyway, she just got upset over something and walked inside. The uncle was basically like, "Hey, I'm talking to you," and she didn't respond. Yeah, it's that phase where kids get hurt very easily. Doubly so, or hell, who am I kidding? Quadruply so if that kid has autism. A little side note, during the editing process, it's probably more like triply so, if you know what I mean. Not quadruple. I know I could have just put a text in the video explaining that, but fuck. I wanted to be unique for this one. I'm starting to get tired of my own videos. I watch them all the time. Anyway, back to the blog. But if I'm being honest though, my feelings get hurt almost every day. Maybe even every day. And it's not always from something new, often it comes from something old. But I have come to just accept that that's just the part of life that I have no control over. Whether it's on purpose or on accident, your feelings are gonna get hurt. However though, I still push through it. And for the most part, I don't let people's POV affect what I had planned out to do that day. I just learned to ignore those people and move on. Just gotta problem solve here, if you know what I'm saying. And speaking on problem solving, I am going to bring this up, but I have a little sister who's 11, so not much younger than that cousin I just mentioned. I don't know if they know each other. I don't think they do, because they're on two separate sides of the family, but that's not the point. I have a sister who has this bad habit of putting empty cups in the fridge. Like, there might be a tiny drop of milk in there, tiny smidge, and she thinks it's worth preserving. When I'm trying to get juice out of the fridge and I see that crap, it's like... So yeah, basically, one day I see a cup in the fridge and I'm like, this don't belong in here, and I take it out. She basically said, that's mine. And I don't remember how I worded it. I don't think it was exactly like this, but I'm basically saying, it's an empty cup. Those do not go in the fridge, they go in the sink. All you're really doing is just wasting space. I also explained that we have other clean cups she could use when she needs a drink, or in the case where that's the only clean cup, she could probably just refill it and then put it back in there. But what if there's no clean cups or milk left? I guess at that point we can make exceptions, but has it ever happened before? It's a very low chance. Let's be honest, fellas. It's not gonna happen that often. Anyway, so after I told her that, she did think about it for a little bit, and then she realized, I'm gonna pour some milk into this cup. That way it actually has a reason to be in there. It was not a difficult fix. All she needed to do was just stop and think for a second. And she's probably not gonna remember it on her first few tries, but it is still a good first step.
Can you help me?
No. You get yourself in there, you can get yourself out. Now, alternate wiggling your fins and your tail.
I can't. I have a bad fin.
Never stop me. Just think about what you need to do. Come on. Perfect.
So yeah, there's that. But for autistic guys and gals, problem solving is extra difficult and probably even overwhelming. So a lot of us will just need extra help in life. For me, I got some weird-ass quirks. They have not been resolved yet, they may never be resolved. Like, you know how you just walk to music in the backyard or wherever and you have a good flow going, and the world could not get better, I tell you. But it gets worse, because something interrupts that flow, like you trip on some shit, or the phone starts to lag for like a juicy-ass minute. That is just suck.
No! You threw off my groove!
Another thing I will mention, and I've kind of said this before, but I've had a few people try to kind of convince me to take driver's ed by making these remarks like, if you had your own car, you do this, you do that. Admittedly, this sort of thing has not happened in a while, but to me that's even worse than people just asking if I have a driver's license. Even there, I think it's kind of annoying, but at least it's just a question, and asking them is kind of just part of being a human being. Not everybody knows this stuff. But with these other people, though, they cannot be wasting their time and energy in any worse way. Like, it doesn't matter. I don't want to do it, I don't know how to do it, and there's no rule that says I'm required to do it. So as far as I'm concerned,
You need to shut.
it really has nothing to do with problem solving. It just has to do with me not giving a shit and having too much anxiety anyways. Again, nobody's harassed me about it in quite a long while. I'm just saying, the next time somebody gets up my ass with that shit, it'll basically go down that way. Anyways, let's just take a break from that for now. That was this episode, and you already know what I'm gonna say, so I'm not gonna say it.